Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 31st, the final update in August here. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. It was day 29 in the house, and yeah, there's, they're doing their thing in there. Lots to talk about in terms of the power. We know who won the power. The vote is going to be locked in, and then how are we going to approach the discussion about the vote was a big issue, and targets coming into place for next week. That is what's happening here today, and with me to talk about it all is Mari. How you doing, Mari?
Hi, Taryn. I'm glad to be here to talk to you about this. We're about to talk about what happens when it's a full moon in the Big Brother house. Like everybody was on one last night, just utter ridiculousness.
Truly, truly.
Mhm.
So let's pull up this good old graphic here so that you can. I think you all know the names and faces by now, but people like the graphic, and honestly, it does. Like, I feel like us. We're actually. I feel like we're bigger on this screen than this screen. I think these are smaller boxes
Yeah, I think
uh,
so too.
than this. So it's
Yeah.
actually like I don't know. I feel like it's. I feel like it works. Um,
Yeah.
so, just to catch you up, of course, Cameron is the HOH. He nominated Blue and Jag. Red won the veto, didn't use it. Then a power was introduced, and 4 people were chosen to compete for the power. Somebody won it. I will soon tell you who. And the power has the ability to cancel the eviction on Thursday tonight. There was initially a flip planned to keep Jag, but Jag ratted out Corey and America early in the week, which really turned off Corey.
Mhm.
And of course, when they finally approached Jared about the vote, he was like, "No, because I'm in a showmance with Blue," or at least that's what he should have said. And he said a lot of stuff about Jag. And so the flip started to feel a little shaky.
Mhm.
And then the twist was introduced, and it killed all talk about the flip.
Mhm.
And that is going to remain the same. There is no talk about flipping the vote back. The power really killed all of that talk. That's kind of where we started the day today here on day 29.
What yeah, and to me it's kind of like, was it a flip? Because the moment Jag kind of hit the block, the idea was to keep him. And then it's like, and then with the power, then that halted it. So it was kind of weird. Like normally I would say, oh, these people are waffling. It's Waffle Wednesday. But it was honestly like, let's consider all of our options Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't as bad as it normally was
It's
in a
true.
sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The history of it is basically when they hit the block, Jag was the target. And then when
Yeah.
Red won the veto, they changed to wanting to keep Jag. So for a day
Mhm.
there, it was Jag was going out.
Mm.
And that had been the plan prior to the week as well. And that's sort of why there's just a lot of momentum in that direction. And then as soon as Red won the veto, they were like, maybe we need Jag to beat Red because Red's good.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
then that's where they were for a little while, and then there was a little bit of pushback from Jared, and they tried with Corey, and Corey also wasn't down because Jag ratted him out.
Mhm.
And then when the twist came in, they were like, you know what, this is just too risky.
Yeah.
Let's calm things down. Um, so here on day 29, I'm just gonna get the power stuff out of the way, and let you guys know that we learned that Jag competed for the power,
Right.
which means that the 4 people we very much assume were Suri, Matt, Jag, and Corey who
Mhm.
competed for the power, and we also found out that Matt won the power, and we know
Mhm.
this because he told Suri, uh,
Mhm.
about it,
Like
and,
the good child he is.
like, literally the first time we heard about who won the power was Suri saying, "I don't know what to tell Matt to do with it."
Yep. Yep.
So, basically,
Yes.
Suri won the power.
Yep, Skippy wasn't quick enough. Skippy was annoying me all day today because it would go to be right back as soon as anybody would even like hint at the power. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was drinking some coffee or something, but we got the whole section of Cerise saying, "Yeah, Matt has the power. I don't know what to tell him to do with it." She goes into an explanation of it, and then all of a sudden, like somebody came back to their desk and was like, "Oh no!" and hit the shiny the shiny will be right back. So it was really funny once we finally learned, but I'm still confused about the rules. It sounds like they're confused about the rules. Mm,
Yeah, so the way Sari described it to Jared was, and he was like, "We need to figure out how it works." She's like, "No, I know how it works. How it works is, according to Sari,
mhm,
Matt has to choose who he wants to save
mhm,
this morning, Thursday morning, the morning before the eviction. And if he decides he wants to use it.
mhm,
So let's say, for example, he decides he wants to save Jag. If they then vote Jag out, the eviction is canceled, Jag stays, and everything resets, including the fact that Cam can compete in the
mhm,
following HOH. If Matt decides to save Jag and they vote blue out and Jag is safe, then the power isn't used and he can still use the power again the following week. So it's not like an immunity idol where you play it and it's consumed whether or not it does anything. You can
mhm.
play it if it turns out it didn't need to be played, then you still get to keep it for the following week. Um,
But I'm so confused. When they announced the power to us, didn't they say how do we why do we think the whole eviction would be canceled and it won't be like a this sounds like an immunity idol
Well,
style
it
thing.
would I mean, it's not like he could save Jag and then Blue would leave instead. It's that he would save
Right.
Jag and then Blue also stays. They both stay. The whole thing is
Right.
canceled,
Yeah,
and everything's
but
reset.
I literally just thought it was gonna be like a halting hex, like, he says he wants to use it, it doesn't matter, everybody stays, like, he didn't have to pick a
R
person, you
No,
know?
yeah, it is 'cause, how it was worded was it saves one person like, from being evicted. So I think that
Oh.
I mean, how it works is that they still vote, and
Yes.
then based on who was voted out, they then like, the power is either used or not used. And
Hmm,
then I didn't get the sense that we know exactly what it means if it's not used, if it's forced to be used in the following week, it doesn't sound like it.
okay,
It sounds like it
I was
is
afraid of that.
right, it sounds like it is something that, can be chosen to not be played, at all. So
Hmm. So so then that probably means, okay, say Matt decides not to use it, this week or next week. That sounds to me like the week after that, it'll be like a reset week. They'll figure some way to out to just wipe that whole week out then.
they definitely will have a backup plan, whether it's
Yeah,
a buyback or some kind of other canceled eviction um, or something, right?
yeah.
Maybe there's like a triple eviction that they'll turn into a double eviction, or something along those lines. But no, there's no way they would have a triple eviction schedule. Come on.
It's giving Caitlin's puzzle. It's giving like, "Oh, you didn't use the power, now we're gonna whoever goes out here will be forced to use the power and still
Mm.
fail." Yeah, very interesting to say the least. So,
Yes. So the question then becomes with Matt having this power, obviously, Matt, one of his closest allies is Jag.
mhm.
Will he use the power to save Jag? Well, if you're wondering what Matt would do, you're already asking the wrong question because the
Yes.
real question is what will Sari do with this power? And just to finish the conversation about the power, obviously, it's impossible to know for sure. They cut the feeds anytime anything is remotely said about the power.
Yep.
However, since we know that Suri is probably in control of what happens to this power, we can look at how does Suri feel about Jag and whether she wants Jag to stay. And we know pretty definitively that she does not want Jag to stay.
Yeah.
So I believe at this time the power will not be used to save Jack.
Yeah, I agree, and it's unfortunate, you know? I was rooting for him, but, you know, he did not show up this week. He banked everything on winning that veto. He didn't win the veto, and now he's at the mercy of the House, and the House sees fit that he is gone. So yeah, it's upsetting. But are we surprised that a twist flopped? No.
Yeah,
No,
he made his bed here, and
he did.
I've been so frustrated because I really like Jag, and
Yes.
I alternate from I feel really bad for him because
Yeah.
he's such a good guy, but I'm at the same time incredibly frustrated with him and his gameplay.
Yes.
It's a very frustrating combination of emotions.
Yeah,
Um,
I think if everybody just realizes that you need to accept that your faves are like flopping and it's fine, then we'll all feel better because it's you can like all of these people and still be like, man, that was a dumb move, and it be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be everybody else's fault that somebody is in this situation.
mhm.
It's their fault, and it's okay. Jag will be okay. You know, I still don't like that there's no pre-jury buyback, but the ship has sailed on that. So
There's just like there's a tension inside of me that like needs to be resolved. I need Jag to find out what happened, who he should have trusted, and what he should have done. And I need him to be like, ah, damn, yeah, I should have done that. I just need that to happen. I need it to happen. It's like I can't live my life until that happens. I'm
it's never
annoyed.
gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And like
Once he gets out of the house, it should. Um,
Oh man.
Jack doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would be like, "No, you don't understand. You didn't see every." Like Jag to me is going to be the guy that's like, "Oh, that's the way
Uh-huh.
I screwed up. I thought I
Yeah.
screwed up a different way."
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I really feel bad for him because the funny thing is so many people in this house want to keep him. Like almost everybody wants to keep him, but they're just not. It's very funny to me.
All right. Well, let's move on from the power. Let's talk through the day. Suri and Felicia are going to talk early in the morning. Now it's important to remember that Felicia has kind of turned on Suri just a little bit, not like majorly by any
Small
means.
turn.
Just a little turn. She exposed her final two with Suri to Jared, and then Jared, of course, told Suri about it. And since then, Felicia's been kind of making some moves. She's been talking to Mimi about Suri and
Mhm.
about moving forward with Mimi. And so Suri is aware of this, and by the way, is continuing to do this thing where she's like, yeah, just the way that like I don't remember who the example is, but like it would like Cameron would never say anything about putting red on the block, like that would be like me saying I would put you on the block. Or that I didn't trust you, or exposing our final two, or something like that. Like, and I would never do that, right? We would never do that, Felicia. Which is like, yeah, no, of course.
Mm. I love this. I like when the battle of the aunties starts. I'm hoping it'll be in a few weeks. You know, not too soon. Don't do it too soon, ladies. But when that battle happens, I'm gonna be all for it. That's gonna be so fun. I love it.
Yeah. Suri does say they're talking about who might have gotten the vote. This is before Suri finds out that Jag was the final person. Because they don't have confirmation that it was Corey. Suri
Right.
says there is a specific group of fans that will probably like Cameron. Uh,
Nailed it.
Felicia thinks, so we think all men? We think all men won the vote? Well, obviously, Suri isn't telling Felicia that she was in
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah.
obviously, Suri knows that she was in it. But aside from Suri, yes. And I think this is part of because Felicia's always been about the women.
Mhm.
And like she was a big advocate for the bye bye bitches, early in the game. And
Mhm.
she's always come back to this idea of like wanting to take out the men. Women have a numbers advantage in this game because of Suri. And I think that like this idea kind of or this thing about like all men got this vote kind of reignited her desire to kind of like talk about, hey, let's do this women thing again. And she talks to Suri about it. She's later going to talk to America about it. But she's also still doing her, her own thing, and she's also through the
Mhm.
day going to talk to Corey about making a Final Four. And so Felicia is making some moves through the day.
Love to see
Unfortunately
it.
for her, every move she makes is ratted out like everyone else in the house.
Yes. Yes. I mean, but at least she's trying, you know? And if anybody has the social capital to go up against Sari, it'll be Felicia. You know, they've been so lockstep. They have like some of the same allies, and it'll get to the point where it's like, okay, it's time to choose. It's time to choose. It might not go her way, but at least it'll be closer than people choosing between Sari and Jag, you know, or
Mhm.
it'll or Sari in America. Like it'll be better. And again, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Corey's gonna have his morning talk with Izzy. And the first time he talked about Endgame with her, it was a big mistake because
Mhm.
she then went to Suri with it and misrepresented it, really, made it sound worse than what it was. So now, the second time he's going to bring up the Endgame talk, still a mistake to have ever talked about it with her, but bringing it up a second time, a good thing because his Endgame talk is not as bad as the one that she remembers.
Right.
And so when he again brings up Endgame with her, here in the morning of day 29. He says, yeah, the goal is to get to final five with our four, the Crossroads.
Yep.
And his idea is like, I am really starting to think Felicia is probably best for the number five. Like, not to underestimate her in competitions, but she probably is going to be a better person to bring with us if we want to like make it there. And he talks a lot about how he's concerned about this showmance thing with America. He feels
Mhm.
like he's going to get put on the block with America, and in the short term, that's fine because he thinks he would stay next to her because he has the support of the Crossroads. But later down the road, toward the end game, if America is still there and he gets put on the block next to America, he thinks that sentiment will flip and that he will be the one to go. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know how real this is.
Mhm.
It sounds fake. So if it is real, that's like really, Corey? And if it isn't real, it's a little bit like this is the best you could come up with.
Right.
But this is kind of the line that he's using to say that America will need to go at some point. Not yet, but we're not bringing her to Endgame. It's definitely better than what he was saying before, which is like just coincidentally, it would be great if we brought America along to take shots with us down to, I don't know, final five or so.
Right.
Now he's saying Felicia and he's saying America needs to go earlier, which does help him with Izzy, who is going to have a conversation with Sari during the day about how maybe Corey's not that bad.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe Corey's all right.
Yeah. Corey, I'm gonna give Corey one or two compliments here, then I'm gonna drag him later. Fair
Yeah.
warning to everybody. Um, so I think Corey has done an amazing job maintaining that relationship with Izzy and getting back in Izzy's good graces. At first, when he was talking to her, I was like, "Oh, is he telling her too much?" Like when I was watching, I was like, but I was like, "Okay, no, he's doing a great job. He's sharing more information with them, and everybody's starting to like come back around to him." Also, I want to point out that America's biggest op is Corey. Corey is the one who is ruining her game, and we will talk about that later. But Corey is doing a decent job of balancing his main alliance with the Crossroads and his showmance with America. So yeah, I'm gonna give him that compliment right now. Yeah,
Yes, it did feel like in the morning, Corey was finally
in the
talking
morning,
game with
yes.
other people, finally getting his head back into the space it needed to be, and that he might be on the slow crawl back up.
Mhm.
Now, despite that, Jared is still anti-Corey at this point. Um,
Yes.
Jared has not turned like he ruined himself with with Izzy and Suri and Felicia and like everyone on that other side except for Jared, who was sticking up for him for a while.
Mhm.
And he wasn't repairing it. They were eating away at Jared. You can't trust Corey. He was like, I can't trust Corey. You can't trust Corey. Jared finally gave in and was like, okay, I can't trust Corey after the argument between the two of them. the day before. And now Corey is slowly making headway back with Izzy and Sari and them. But Jared is again lagging behind here, very much still anti-Corey. Now Corey does say to Izzy, he's like, can I just say, am I an asshole for like talking about America like this? Like, is this bad? Like, I feel awful. And
Mhm,
she's like, no, it's just the game. You have to understand.
mhm,
And this is again like whether or not this is real. This was actually, I think, good. This was like the emotional, like you can say, well, theoretically, it doesn't make sense for America to be in the end game because if I get put up next to her, then I'll be the one voted out. Like that's all well and good. Unless
mhm.
there's an emotional component, I'm never going to believe it. And feeling like he's genuinely concerned about being portrayed or even just like being an asshole in this situation
Right.
is I think a lot more believable as like okay maybe he really is looking at America in this way. All that said, if I were in the game, I'm still never trusting it. Even if somebody feels this way in the moment, it never happens. You don't turn on your showmans when it comes down to it. When you need to point the weapon at the person and say, "This is the time. I'm about to like chop their head off or slit their throat or whatever." They go, "Do it, do it, do it," and then they turn around and they stab the other person like in a movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
never happens.
It never happens, yeah.
So you can't ever trust it.
Mhm, exactly.
Um, yeah, so uh Jared ends up joining their conversation,
Mhm,
and Corey enacts part two of his like main plan for the day, at least at this point in the day, which is anti Matt. I've talked a lot about how Matt is
mhm,
kind of Corey's biggest problem in the game right now, mostly because he replaced Corey in the good graces of Cerie's family. Um, and so he's trying to discredit Matt. He's saying, listen, Matt talked to us last night. He was implying that we should make an alliance, which is what they've done a lot of times. When people have been hanging out, when they've been hanging out late at night with him. Remember, they talked about the reliable rats and all that
mhm.
stuff. And
The
so he's trying to warn
unreliables.
them. Yeah, he's trying to warn them like, "Hey, Matt is untrustworthy. Everyone trusts him. Everyone believes in him. He's trying to make Final 3 alliances. Like, this guy is dangerous." And Jared's like, "Yeah, but we've got him." And Corey's like, "Yes, but everyone thinks that. Red and Cam think that." And he's like, "Yeah, that's because Red and Cam are dumb. But we're not. We've got him." And he's like, "Ugh." And,
But
like, the
the
fact is, like, he's right. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
what are
what
you
I'm
gonna do?
saying. It's like he's right. They have that. So it's just like and also I want to point out that this is where we find out that Corey also wants Jag gone too. Like
Oh, yeah.
Corey wants Jag gone. Let's just put a pin in that. Let everybody remember that. Corey wants Jag gone. Okay, sorry, keep going too.
Yeah, I mean, Corey has wanted Jag gone, I think, since Jag ratted them out, on Saturday,
Exactly. Yes.
because before that, he did want Jag to stay, because he had a better relationship with Jag, and honestly, Jag staying would have been better for Corey long term because
Yeah.
Blue is such a problem connected to Jared, but when Jag is so adamantly loyal and ratting him out left and right, it's like, well, what am I gonna do? Um So, there's a little side plot through the day of Jared and Blue. He's mad at her
Right.
because she screwed up. He says he's upset. I'm guilty by association. Blue later says to the cameras that like everyone was talking about it, and so she doesn't. I guess she thought it was fine, but she shouldn't have confirmed it. She doesn't even remember confirming it. But I guess that's the problem with me. I'm just dumb. I'm just bad at the game. Um,
Confirm what? I still don't understand.
there were two main theories that make sense to me. One is that she confirmed like you know the cleanup situation, uh,
Oh.
which maybe that can make some sense. Two
Ah,
is that she confirmed the Showmance alliance proposal, but that one makes a little less sense to me. Um,
mm.
it's possible because she has been kind of vocal about it, uh, but to me, it felt more like because they were talking about it the night before, And they were talking about, the cameras and seeing everything,
Mhm.
and so she doesn't even remember, like, confirming anything, but I
Mhm.
think that's what it was, especially because he was like, "Well, they don't know. They can only speculate." Um,
Right.
and so I think he feels like she screwed up, and he's making her feel dumb, because of it. Um,
Hmm. Until he wants to do it again, but whatever.
yeah, later that night. Uh,
Ugh.
so that's happening through the day. He's later going to have another conversation with her, and it's a super awkward one. I'm not gonna get into
Oh
too
my
much
god, it
detail,
was
but,
so
like,
bad. It was so
uh,
bad.
yeah, it's like he's like, talking, and she's at one point, the worst part, at one point she was like, "I kinda got bigger things to worry about." He's like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, do you see my packed bag right there? Like, I could be voted out tomorrow." And he's like, "Wow, that was a big statement."
Yeah.
Wait, what was a big statement? You know what I mean. Like, wait, that I don't remember. What did I say? She's like, "That you have bigger things to think about, to deal with." She's like, "Oh, well, I mean, I do." I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like you're making it a bigger statement than it was,
Mhm.
which is a favorite of Jared's, by the way. It's like,
Right.
it's how you're taking it, not how I meant it. Um,
After he had said, "Oh, we have to chill tonight because this might be our last night," or he not even might be, he said, "This will be our last night." I mean, might be our last night. I was like,
yeah,
"Stop,
'cause,
stop it."
'cause, like, listen, he wanted more cleanup time.
Yes,
She was like, "I've kinda got bigger things to deal with," and he
right.
took big offense to that. And, yeah,
Not fun to
not
watch.
fun. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So we'll stop, talking about that.
Yeah.
Matt talks to Izzy and Sari, about the vote, and Matt, even at this point, is agreeing it's best to take out Jag and keep Red and Cam calm.
Mhm.
And so Izzy's like, "You really think that they'll put up Corey if they'll win, though? Because that's what they've been saying. Remember yesterday we talked
Mhm.
about Cam saying that he's anti-Corey now." Um, Literally from, like, every male perspective in this house, we need to talk about the just ridiculous view of women and how that's influencing their game. But yes, Cam is anti-Corey now.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Yeah, they hate Corey, but only because he says, "C because of Corey being with America, they don't like him anymore."
Yep.
And so,
Clocked.
I still think it
Clocked
would
it.
probably be blue in America, but yeah, they don't mess with Corey anymore.
I'm glad at least somebody, points it out because he was all fine and dandy with Corey until Corey and America started, snuggling, so
Mhm.
the men in this house, ugh.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I talked about how Corey, I think, never prepared for the idea that he would be in a showman's, and we know that
Yeah,
he came in like wanting to be the little brother. And a huge part of Big Brother is self-awareness, understanding your position in the game and how people view you. And I think that Corey, especially when it comes to his relationship with Cam, because the deterioration of that relationship is like one of his biggest failures. Cam was supposed to be his weapon against Suri,
yeah,
and now he's turning into the new Jag, where he's being pitted against Cam. And I think the primary reason is that Corey, who is supposed to be the little brother, is now like with America, like feeling confident. And it's
mhm,
very threatening to Cam and Jared, who are like, "You're supposed to be lesser. Like, you're supposed to be the little
mhm,
brother. You're not supposed to," especially Cam, who's like, you know, like, really wants Corey out pre-jury. Because listen, there's no cameras in the jury house.
yikes, big
Um,
yikes,
like, it's I don't think Corey realizes that that's how people see him now, and he's still trying to
mhm.
play the little brother to somebody like Cam, and it's not working anymore.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, like, you can't play the little brother if you, like, I have a hot girl on your arm, it's more like the all of those movies in the late '90s where the nerd is turned into a hot dude and gets the hot girl at the end. People don't
There's a
like that
lot of
apparently.
resentment for that.
Yeah,
Like, when you
mhm,
when you initially see somebody as, like, I'm cooler. I'm more of a man. I'm more masculine than this person. But then they start succeeding at the more masculine, stereotypical traits.
Right.
It's very threatening. And there's a lot of resentment that, like, how is this person like succeeding in these ways when I'm supposed to be the one that's the more manly man.
Mhm.
And so Corey unfortunately is having to deal with some of that, as well as, of course, the even like worst recipient of this, America, who is having to deal with all of that plus everything else that's going on from Red and everything there, and even some of the women. Yeah, it's this stuff is very prevalent in this house, as it often is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, so Izzy says that she agrees it's best to take out Jag. She asked him during his campaign today, because Jag's been campaigning, and she asked him straight up the big dangerous question: what happens after Red and Cam leave? What happens in a post Red and Cam world? And what Jag said was, well, I mean, I'll just be loyal to the 7. I mean, I guess it will be 6, but I'll be loyal to the 6 and I'll just ride down with the 6. And the problem is he's telling the truth. And
Mhm.
the problem with that is that that sounds like nonsense. Who would be dumb enough to do that? So she thinks it's the sketchiest thing in the world, and she
Mhm.
definitely thinks he needs to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and this happens a lot in this house. Why would they do that? That makes no sense. They're lying. Like, no, they're just playing very badly. It's okay.
Yeah. So Crossroads is gonna come together for the first
Mhm.
time in a while. Jared, Izzy, Suri, and Corey. And they talk about the vote. They agree. Jag is leaving. Corey, again, a vocal anti-Jag person, but at this point, they're all pretty anti-Jag. Um,
Mhm.
they also talk about Red and Cam, and Suri lets Corey know that they hate America. Red in particular
Yeah. Mhm.
hates America. And there's a little bit of a miscommunication because Cerise says, "Oh yeah, Red earlier said he said, oh now the saying my name." He didn't use the B word,
Mm.
but so she says that she included the B word, but he didn't say it. But that was sort of the vibe of what he was saying.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
Corey,
Mhm.
though, doesn't hear that he didn't say the B word part and thinks, "Oh, Red called America the B word." Um,
Well, he's called her everything but a child of God at this point, so
I
it's
mean,
like
close enough.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
mean, not the B word, but lots of other things that, honestly, in combination, are probably worse. Um,
Right.
so Corey now knows that Red is anti-America, that this is all happening. Um, and Izzy's going to talk with Suri about Felicia. Corey has let them know about Felicia approaching him about the Final Four, and they're like, "What is Felicia doing?" So just keep track of that because it's not leading to anything big right now, but we need to
Mhm.
see where it eventually goes. Um, Suri also warns Corey that Cam is looking at him, and she tells Corey, just so you're prepared, if something happens with the power, Cam, he promised he wouldn't put America up, so he's talking about putting you up on the block. And Corey's like, what? Cam is supposed to be my guy. What is happening?
What's happening? Those late night cuddle sessions are fogging up your game there, Corey. You're letting things fall.
Yes. So all of those pieces are kind of put into the pot.
Oof.
And they're all gonna get stirred up in just a second. But before we get to the real like spiral when Jag wants to get everyone into a room, is there anything else from prior to that that you wanted to bring up?
No, I just wanted to set the scene for everybody.
Okay.
It's the have-nots are hungry. They're tired. They
Hungry.
they can't wait to eat. Izzy, Corey, and Bowie are have-nots. They're waiting till midnight. It is also a full moon outside. Everybody is just losing it. I guess the only thing before the spiral is just talking about Bowie. Bowie having a really bad day. Again, she is a have-not. She is convinced that Izzy hates her. I mean, Izzy is not the biggest fan.
True. It's
Yeah.
very true.
She thinks when she walks into rooms, people are leaving. I don't know if
True.
they're okay. There it goes. Yes, okay, it's happening. But she is just her poor thing has been crying. She's crying to Sari. Sari has had it today as well. Sari is tired of everybody following her, asking her what to do. Sari, what do I vote? Sari, who do I put up next? Sari, what do I do with my power? She's had it. She's tired of carrying this house on her back. So she has resigned herself to shrugging her shoulders at some people. And unfortunately, that leads to some things later on. But I think it's so funny to me because Sari is just like, she's like, I can't do enough. It's only day 30. I can't.
Yeah, so all of this frustration leads to a conversation with Jag and Suri where he's campaigning again, and she decides to use the Riley strategy. Here's the thing, Jag. I'm just not sure about Corey in America. And he's like, no, they're down. They're down. We're gonna hear that phrase a lot. They're down. And she's like, well, let's just get everyone into a room then, and let's all agree. And he's like, all right,
Let's do it.
that's what we're gonna do. And so he goes to Corey and he's like, Corey, I want to get everyone into a room because you're down, Sari, Felicia, and Izzy are down, and I just want everyone to get into a room, and we'll all agree that we're keeping me. We're not gonna make the same mistakes that we made in the past. We never got into a room, so we're gonna do that. And Corey's like, okay, and he runs to Sari. He's like, why is Jag telling me that you want to get everyone into a room? What is happening, Sari? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I said something like that. He's like, what do I do then? Like, if he pulls us into a room, what am I supposed to say? Like, what do I do, Sari? And she's like, don't come.
And then just starts laughing. It is the hysterical laughing of somebody who is just tired. At one point in the day, Sari is just cackling at everything because she's over it. And it is the funniest thing I think I've seen in my entire life because we know, I mean, Sari knows the truth that at least Corey is not down to save Jag. So she thinks she's telling Jag the truth. Jag is, of course, vintage Jag, 2 days too late because if 2 days ago, he was right. Everybody was down. This vote was going to happen. And that's what he's telling Corey. But Corey knows it's not. So it is a whole back and forth all night. And it was very entertaining.
So now Corey's freaking out. And he goes to America. And he's like, Jag wants us to pull us into a room. And for us all to agree that we're voting to keep him. I don't know what Sari is doing. I don't know why she said that. But this is, I guess, what we're doing. Like, what do we do? And America's like, I mean, I do want to vote for Jag to stay. So I'm fine with it. Like, whatever. Like, let's just go ahead and do it. And he's like, but I don't know. But like, what are they gonna do? She's like, I don't know. Let Mastermind Sari figure it out. She can figure out how to deal with it. It's like, okay, well,
America was on one last night, and I'm gonna let you continue, Taran.
No, yeah, well, America she's upset because they're doing the same thing to Jag that they did to Riley, and she really likes Jag, even though she got mad at him for ratting her out. She still really likes Jag, and she's frustrated because she wants Jag to know that they're just playing with him at this point. They're just playing with their food. And so on top of it all, they're trying to blame her, which is what they did last time, where they were like, America was never a vote to keep Riley, by the way, Jag.
She wasn't.
Well, I think she would have been. But she was very much
But whose fault is that? Corey's.
Sorry, what?
Whose fault was that? It was Corey's fault. It was Corey's fault that Riley went home. I'm sorry. It's Corey's fault that Hyson went home, and it'll be Corey's fault that Jag goes home. Not to the extent of like it is Suri and them, but I just think it's funny because America is now very frustrated at the position she's in. Like one of her best friends is going home. The people she has left to work with is very small, considering that she now knows that Cam and Red do not like her, and she knows that the power is Suri and Izzy and Felicia, but she doesn't want to just be like a hanger on to that power. She wants to be able to restructure the house the way she wants to, but she has nobody to restructure with. And the reason why I'm being a little bit overzealous, but it's Corey's fault. like
I would push back. I would push back on Corey's fault that Riley went home, because that vote was very much like not really in his hands, but definitely Hyson.
Yep. Definitely Jag. I don't care because like Jared's not voting out Blue. No matter how much he pretends he's gonna vote out Blue to people, I don't think he would have voted out Blue. So they would have needed an America or a Corey to make Jag stay. And at one point they were going to. And again, it's not really Corey's fault. It's also the power and all of that. But I'm just saying, America's biggest op is Corey, and she don't know it. Jared is like, no.
I think she has worse problems in the house than Corey, unfortunately for her. So America's upset with the whole situation, and she's annoyed with Suri and them. And she's like, let Mastermind Suri figure it out. And Corey says, I think that's the play. I think we just say yes. I think that's the only thing we've got. And America's like, I just want, like, can we talk to Jag? Can we just tell him that they're not going to vote for him? And he's like, oh no, I don't think we should do that. She's like, why not? He thinks he trusts them too much. He's like, did you not learn anything from the last time you tried that? He says, listen, Jag is leaving. We gain nothing from like winning his trust. Like, let's just let him go. We don't want to ruin our relationships with Suri over Jag, who's about to leave. And so he says, America, you are the only one I give a about in this entire house. I want both of us to be safe. I'm here now. I'm hearing that like if there's a power, I might go up on the block this week from Cam. I'm hearing that Red hates you. I don't understand what's going on in this house anymore, but we need to figure it out and we need to be careful. And so America goes straight to Jag and says, Jag, you can't trust them. He's like, what? No, they're with me. No, America, they're with me. Don't sketch me. Don't be like this, America. I'm telling you, they're with me. She's like, me being like this. I'm trying to tell you that this is the same they did to Riley. Jag, you have to see this. And he's like, no, it's different than Riley. It's we're gonna get into the problem with Riley. The Riley situation is that we never got into the room. So all we need to do is get into the room and we'll be fine. Jag, no. He's like, I'm telling you, Jag, they're lying to you. They're lying to you, Jag. Sorry, I'm not giving America enough. I need to be smiling. They're lying to you, Jag. They are lying to you. He's like, they're not. I trust them. America, stop sketching me out. How am I sketching you out? I'm trying to tell you the truth. They are lying, just like they lied to you with Riley. And he says, no, America, you need to trust me. They are not lying. They are down. They are down. Okay, fine. Yeah, if they're down, then I'm down. That's good. We're good.
Again, I don't know what she thought she was going to accomplish with this.
She just doesn't want him to be tricked. She is me in this situation. I want to scream at Jag. They are lying to you. But she's in the game and probably shouldn't be doing this. He's like, this is good. This is happy. Be happy. And she's like, Jag, I don't trust them. I don't trust them, Jag. And now Corey is telling me that Red hates me. And he's coming to me all anxious. And I know he's really close with them. I don't even know if he's really with me, if I'm being honest. And so Jag, I want you here, but they do not. And he says, no, you need to understand they are down. Matt is down. Jared is leaning toward it. That's where the numbers are already. And Red doesn't like them either, so don't even worry about that. No, Jag, Red thinks he's working with them. No, it's fake. That's fake. Not to Red. Red thinks he's with them. They will always be safe with Red. That's why you are on the block. Silence.
Yeah. Jag was like,
wait a minute. Because we're really living up to our name. He says, no, not this week. We won't. I'm telling you, please trust it. She's, Jag, where are they right now? Because I was supposed to be doing like Izzy's makeup or whatever. We've got the curling iron is hot, sitting right here, ready to go. They all left the room. Where are they right now? Why did they leave? Where did they go? They're all out there in rooms freaking out about what to tell you because they don't know what to say yet. And they're figuring it out right now. And he's like, I don't think so. So let's go see. And so she leaves and he follows and nobody to be found out about in the house. They run into Corey in the living room and they go and sit next to him. And she sits next to Corey and she smiles with the guiltiest smile on her face. And he's like, what did you say to him? Nothing. Jag comes up. He's like, Corey, America's stressing me out. And he looks at America. It's like, what did she say?
I just...
like,
I love your recreation because this is exactly it. This is everything.
It's like, listen, I'm worried too. It's my worry is this does feel like the Riley thing, Jag. He says, but it's not the Riley thing. That's what I'm trying to say. And Corey's like, you're right. It's not the Riley thing because we're going to get into a room. And he says, yes, exactly, Corey. Thank you. See, America. And he's like, Corey's like, yeah, we'll just, we'll figure it out. I'm down. America's down. We'll get into the room. And America is just annoyed and she leaves and she goes straight to Blue in the scary room. And she gives the same rant to Blue. And she's like, Blue, I'm so pissed right now. They're just playing with him. They're doing the same thing they did to Riley and they're blaming me for it. I don't like these people. And Blue's like, wow, yeah, that's pretty messed up. It's just like they are super close with Corey. Corey is working with them. They know how Corey is going to vote. They're lying to him, acting like they don't know how Corey's going to vote. I've been very upfront with Jag that I'm willing to vote to keep him. I mean, I'm lying to him because obviously I want to keep you, Blue. But like, they're lying to him too, and it's really annoying.
And Blue is just like, oh yeah, that is weird.
That's messed up. As I'm changing my clothes.
Yeah,
I can't believe they're doing that. Oh God.
But she's like, but I am good though, right?
And America's like, yeah, and I'm talking to Corey, and Corey's telling me that Red hates me. And that we need to distance ourselves. And Blue's like, ew, I hate that energy. And America's like, yeah, who cares? Let's just go. Who cares? Let's just go against him and be obvious. Rachel and Brendan did it. Jeff and Jordan did it. Who cares? I don't like. We're very different people, me and Corey. We're not on the same wavelength at all. Like he wants to play this like game where he's like thinking long term and like cares about his position. And I'm just like, who cares? Let's just go.
Yeah. Ooh, funny that. Like he's actually worried about his longevity in the game. This is why I get on these live feed updates and these recaps and I tell you, it does not matter how strategic you are. It doesn't matter if you know the game layout or anything. If you don't have the social capital to back it up, it doesn't matter. If you don't have the positioning to make these power moves, it doesn't matter. This is why people get in here and they're like, oh, the super fans, they're so amazing. They're playing the best game, but they're in the worst position because all of these other people are bad and they suck at the game. No, they are in this position because they don't have the social capital to make things work. And that is Big Brother. There is more than one way to win Big Brother. And not everybody is going to be the subtle mastermind who moves pieces. Kevin Ted Jacobs, Kevin Martin, and
All
Ian
the
are
Kevins.
they are the exception to the rule. They are the super fan exception to the rule. For every one of those, you get your Frenchies, you get your Cameron via, BB19, you get your Ramses, you get like it is not the same. Being a super fan does not automatically mean you will win the game.
Well, I
And
would say that like I think we're talking like nerd super fan because
yeah,
like Derek was a super fan, Andy was a
true.
super fan,
Yes, shout out to
like
Andy.
Nicole was or Nicole may be close to that nerd
Yes,
line, but
but people just think this archetype is the kind of like the end all be all for the like a best strategic big brother player, but it's nothing. It's nothing if you cannot connect to people in certain
yes.
ways. And Corey is doing a great job of still being able to keep the connections that he has, even though he might not be maneuvering the pieces. It is a very Steve Moses game. He's in the know. He is being, he's being told what's going on. He's being included in the plans, and that works for him. It is not happening for America. America could know the whole house structure. She could know where everybody lies. But if she doesn't have the people to back her up, it doesn't matter. And unfortunately for her, 3 weeks too late. You know what I'm saying? She's just 3 weeks too late. And it's nobody else's fault but hers. Sorry.
No, yeah, and that, I mean, that's because I was thinking about this because America's going to go to Cameron later, and it's like obviously there are a lot of like really unfortunate things that America is facing in this game when it comes to Cam and Red, um, and even some of the women in the house. But like when it comes down to it, I do think that like a big part of her failure in the social game is that she spent the first like week and a half not playing the game.
Yes.
She was
Yes.
like, because she was approached. I always come back to she was approached by Suri. I tweeted this out back when it happened because Suri was like, I would love to work with you in whatever capacity you would like. And I was like, my heart would swoon if Suri said that to me. And she said it to America, and America gave her nothing in return,
Mhm.
and just continued to hang out with like her friends. And I think that she probably felt like, oh, lie low in the beginning. That's how you play the game. But
Yep.
it doesn't work like that, and those strategic connections were never formed, even with her own friends who left her out of almost every alliance they made. And
Mhm.
now when she's trying to actually play the game and be bold like she wants to be, she has no social capital to do it because she never made those strategic bonds. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's frustrating because I want to see America make these bold moves. Like
Yeah.
she's if she had the power to, she'd be a very fun player. And even
Yeah.
so, I mean, she's being a fun player. But yeah,
And I say all that to say that there's still plenty of game left, and she
yes,
really can find a way to turn it around. But I
she
just
needs to
need
win an HOH and actually
exactly.
make some good strategic bonds with people. Except now there's a power involved, and so she probably shouldn't win this HOH.
And you know what have been a good HOH to win? What do you know? This
Well,
week.
this would
The
have been
one
a great one to win, except also the power would have canceled her eviction if she had made a move, so maybe not.
I mean, yes, true, but also she could have still been working on
Yes.
her strategic relationships. Like again, I still can't believe she sat there for 14 hours holding her hand on the button. She is a super fan. I would think as a super fan, winning the second pressure cooker would have been greater than anything else. I would have won it and then figured out what to do later because this whole, like you said, I think she got just caught in her mind of the whole lay low and then turn it on later. I feel bad for her, and I say that I don't want people to think that I don't like America or I don't like Corey. I do. I like them both. It's just we have to be able to say, "Dang, they messed up. They messed up. They messed up," and that. But it's only 30 days in. We don't know what can happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, um, America also talks about, and again, very worth mentioning in talking about America's position and certain failures in her game, is that she is also fighting uphill a bit with certain players. They're talking about, they're like, I don't understand what Red's problem is with you,
Yeah.
America. And she says, I'm convinced it's because of that BS he talked about in week 2, where he said he wasn't allowed to talk to pretty girls. Bill's like, oh my God, I forgot that that happened.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, don't worry, the audience didn't. Um,
Yes, and are you gonna talk about, what the comic room was talking about, what Red said?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
please clear
we
that
can
up,
we can
because
go right there actually because it's relevant to
yeah,
here. They are talking in the comic room about Red, and
mhm,
how he called America fast,
yes,
and said that the closest he ever wants to be to her is sitting on the nomination block next to her, which is just so creepy.
cringe.
Uh, like your proximity to this woman who's a pretty woman that you're not allowed to talk to, who uses her womanly wiles on people,
Oof.
is just like, it was fast.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and then Matt didn't know what fast meant. First, he
yeah.
didn't yeah, and so they were giving examples of fast, like, "Oh, floozy, thought, flirtatious," and of course, people on Twitter didn't watch the whole interaction, so they were assuming that
Oh, were they?
yeah, that's why I wanted you to talk about it, because they were talking they said Suri, Felicia, Mimi, everybody in that room were calling America all these names when that's not what was happening. They
Oh yeah, they
were
were they were defining fast.
Yes, yeah, and they were saying what Red said, and then
Mhm.
they were defining it for Matt. Unfortunately, that is the, thought is the current iteration of that word for the younger people, so they use that, but people, again, spiraled, took it out of context and was like, "Oh, these mean old ladies are calling America all this stuff," when it's not them, it's Red. Red is the one who's been coming for America very harshly.
Very yes, very much the main perpetrator there. Um, so that's part of what America has to deal with, because
Yeah.
literally until she found out that Red hated her, like I wanted to make this joke, but like America finds out that Red hates her, and she's like, I'm sorry, who is she? Like
Yeah,
who is
yeah.
Red? Like, I don't like, why? Why? I feel
Makes
like
no
I
sense.
don't even know who that guy is in this house.
Mhm.
Like,
And and I'm wondering if she's thinking if he hates her because, like, the other people are making him hate her. Like, I'm wondering if that's another
I
layer to it.
it's possible she thinks that, but she definitely
Mm.
seems to have clocked right away the weird energy that Red
Yeah.
gives, and the fact that he said he
Yes,
wasn't allowed to talk to pretty girls. Like,
you're
I
right.
think I mean, given how quickly she clocked it, this is not probably the first time she's dealt with this kind of thing before, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Um, Corey comes back to America and he says, "Okay, I've thought about it. I think the play is that we just lie to Jag." And he gets blindsided on Thursday. And she says, "All right, okay, fine. I just don't understand why they won't just own it. Just own it. Just own it." Uh, and she says, they start talking about Red, and she's like, "Well, what's up with this Red thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, apparently he called you the B word." And she's like, "Excuse me, what the hell? I want to go confront him about this." And he's like, "No, please, please don't. He will know immediately that it came from me, and Cerie's the one that told me, so like that would be very bad." And so she's like, "Oh, okay, all right." As I really want to go confront him about this, he's like, "I don't think that's a good idea." And he says, "Listen, I'm sorry, I'm not communicating very well right now. I don't want to tell you what to do." And she says, "I like when you tell me what to do,
Right.
though." And he does not know what to do with that. Um, and so
Mhm.
he says, "Listen, I know you want to go after Serena and Izzy, but if we make this like showman's thing work, then once we get to final 8, final 9, we'll crush them in competitions. Like they won't be able to beat us. That's the end goal right now." And so that's what he's
Mhm.
telling America.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kinda, again, this is when it started to spiral for Corey, and again, I blame the hunger. because it was close to the end of the night, and he's again trying to balance these two relationships between Cerie's side of the house and America. And unfortunately, I don't think it's on purpose, but he's like mixing words with the two of them because he goes to tell America, "Oh, I think we should just lie to Jag." And then when he goes to Izzy and Mimi, he tells Izzy and Mimi, "Oh, America wants us to lie to Jag." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's little stuff like that that I don't know if he knows that he's kind of like stoking the fire between the two of them. I don't think he's doing it on again, I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but it's like accidental,
Yeah, well,
you
he's
know?
trying very hard to ingratiate America with Izzy.
Right.
But unfortunately for him, so because this is, I think, another like misunderstanding that some people are having. But like, so Corey's gonna go to Izzy, and earlier in the day as well, he was talking to them about like, yeah, America might be willing to take like a shot at Cerie.
Mhm.
And it was like, what is he doing? Because that's a very dumb thing to say. But the problem is, he doesn't think that's throwing America under the bus because he also mentioned that he wants people to take a shot at Cerie. He got himself in that hole and he thinks it's a good hole. He's like, it's great around here in this hole. Things are great
This
and
whole
comfy. America, come on down. It's a good hole to be in. And so when he's telling Izzy that America's willing to take that shot, he thinks that Izzy wants that shot to be taken because they've had the conversation about how they can't beat Cerie. Um,
Mhm.
and so, and in the meantime, he's like, but she likes you. She like you're the next person that she's closest to. And he advises America like, please just go and vent to Izzy about Red. Like you two can bond over how much you hate Red. And
Oh,
uh,
yeah,
and
smart.
so he tells that to Izzy too. He's like go and talk to America about Red. And Izzy was like, I don't think I can trust America with Red stuff. And he's like, well, at least let her vent to you then. She's like, yeah, absolutely. I will be a sounding board for America. And so, but like when he comes up there, I think it's important to note that like he goes up there and he says, I just need to chill. I'm just
Yeah.
stressed. And she was also very stressed. She was like in the have not room by herself in the dog bed, like cozied up, just needing alone time. He's like, I know you wanted your alone time, but like, can I just chill up here? And she was like, absolutely, Corey. Like, listen, you're my friend. Like outside of this game, you can always chill. Being alone never excludes you. It's the same with Cerie. And I think she meant it. I think she does really like Corey. Even when she was against Corey, even when she was ratting Corey out, she was always saying, I like him a lot. It's a shame he's being such a snake.
Mhm.
And over the last couple of days, especially over the course of this day, their relationship has gotten better as he talked about the end game and kind of clarified some things. So this relationship is better for sure. Um,
Mhm.
he's going to vent about the situation. He's like, everyone is playing terribly this week. I'm playing terribly by telling America too much. She's playing terribly by telling Jag too much and just like being America. Suri is playing terribly by telling Jag to get everyone into a room. You're the golden child this week, is he?
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I am.
She's excited about that.
And he says to Izzy, and I thought this was important. He says to Izzy, I've been telling America that the plan is that we just make it to final 8 or so, and then we just beast out with competitions, maybe like with Jared. So not the full story of what he's telling to America, but very close. But he says specifically, so if she says something like that, no, that's what I'm telling her. So it's still hard to say, like, if he's gotten to the point where he feels like he can't trust America with his actual plan on what to do with America,
Yeah.
uh, and so he's telling her a fake plan that he's then giving to Izzy in case she rats that plan out to somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Corey and America, great. So funny together, very cute, but their Big Brother games are incompatible.
Very incompatible.
Incompatible. It's okay. It's okay.
Um, so all of this is happening, and Cerie's getting so annoyed at
Yeah.
Jag. She's just like, this guy is so persistent. He won't leave me alone. He's trying to get us into the room. It's so annoying. He eventually does get Cerie up there with Corey and America and Matt. And they all say, so we doing this? And they're like, yep. Yep, we're voting to keep you, Jag. Look at us all in the room. You've done it. You've finally forced us to lie straight to your face. I hope you're happy.
Oh, this is so awkward. It was just like Sari and Matt, and it was Jag, Corey, America, Sari, Matt. And was it one more person or just the 5 of them?
I can't remember if Izzy was there.
Right. But it was
Yeah.
just like she was like, "Yeah, I'll go tell the other women," and Matt barely even sat down. And I was just upset because Sari and Matt went into the have not room and they cut the cams on them. I wanted to hear what they were gonna say.
Oh, too much power talk, I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, after Sari leaves with Matt and it's just Jag, Corey, and America, Jag is like, "We did it, guys! Like, let's go! We got them into a room." And America's like, "Yeah, we did it. We're so happy." And he hugs her. She hugs him back. And then she goes to Corey and she says, "What if we made out right now in front of you?"
Yeah.
And Corey makes a joke. He's like, right after they finished all agreeing, they're like, Corey's like, "All right, by a vote of 10-0, Jag, you have been evicted from," which is what's going to happen.
It is.
And he's like, Jag's just like, "Thank you guys. I love you guys so much." And it's so sad. It's so sad.
It is. It is. Yeah, it is. I do feel bad. I feel bad, but it's like, what are you gonna do? It's, welcome to Big Brother. Yeah.
So that's sort of like the main spiral through the night. But of course, we talked a little bit about Bowie getting upset, which upset Izzy again. And
Yep.
then she got into a whole thing with Felicia. Like, I hate feeling like I'm the liability.
Yeah.
And got people talking about Izzy again. And there's another plot through the day of, and this was speaking of misinterpretations on Twitter, I saw this one a lot. That Blue in her campaign has been telling people, "Well, coming off the block, I don't want to win HOH. That would put a bigger
Yeah.
target on my back. I'd want to throw HOH. I'd throw HOH to you, Cameron. I'm going to throw HOH." She's been saying that all day long. And people are like, "This idiot.
Yeah. She
She's
did.
the dumbest player ever." Then late into the night, she's talking to the camera. She's like, "I need to win so bad. These idiots are believing me that I'm going to throw the HOH, but I'm obviously not going to throw the HOH."
Thank
Blue's not
God.
throwing the HOH.
She had me fooled. I tweeted it. I was like, "What are you doing, baby? No! Like, why would you tell people that? Like, because I guess it was because she was saying it to like she was saying it to Bowie when I heard her say it. I was like, and I didn't think Bowie was that important to lie to, but I was like, oh, thank God, because I don't. It was when she told Sari. I think when her and Sari in the storage room, she told Sari, "I'm telling people that I'm going to throw the HOH, but I'm not." I was like, oh, thank God, because you don't want to tell Sari and them that you're throwing HOH, because what good are you to them? That means then they'll keep Jag. But I was glad that she ended up clearing that up, because she got me hook, line, and sinker. I was like, what? Why would you do that?
I mean, ultimately, it's everything else that Blue has done in the game that makes people believe that this is true. But I woke up this morning and I saw people still being like, "Blue's such a dummy for wanting to throw HOH." And I was like, "But she said she wasn't going to last night. Why do you still think this?"
Yeah. Also, just random aside, Taran, do you think Blue knows Sari is Jared's mom? I still don't think she does. I don't care what the episode tried to tell me last night. I don't think she does.
I don't think she's sure.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's been confirmed to her, but I think that she suspects, because unlike what the episode tried to make us believe, Jared didn't specify who it was. And so she assumed it was Felicia. And then I think she was like, "Oh, maybe it's not Felicia. Maybe it is Sari," but I don't think she's completely sure about it.
And that's what it felt like. It felt like in the DR, she was like, "There's only a few options. It's either Sari," and then she lists it, and then they cut it. I was like, "Or Felicia." Like I felt like it felt like a manipulative diary room edit. I'm like, funny. Blue is funny. I'm glad she's staying. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people don't like the Blue and Jared of it all. I don't like it when they are talking to each other, but I do think it's funny watching Blue follow Felicia and Sari around all day. That gives me life. I love watching that, her sucking up to them.
There's one more little thing through the night, which is this Cameron stuff. America, after hearing
Oh,
that like her relationship with Cameron has been frayed and that she's that Red is against her, she tries to talk to Cameron, and like just like be like, hey, are we good? And then Cameron immediately goes to Suri and complains to Suri about it, and how like sketchy America is. And Suri then tells Corey that, hey, just so you know, your girl just tried to talk to Cameron and got herself in more trouble. And so Corey then goes, and Corey, who also has now found out that apparently Cameron is against him as well. He's gonna go to Cameron and say, "Hey, just so you know, I'm with you. Like I'm on board." And Cameron is gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm just getting sick of America, Corey." And he's like, "Yeah, I get that. Okay." But what are we doing? What's going on? Are we good? And then when Corey is like cuddling with America out on the loft area,
awkward.
Cameron is gonna continue to be really. Oh, and even before that, sorry, they're sitting at the table eating, and Cameron is just like sitting like he's in the Silence of the Lambs, staring at the camera, staring at the screen, of like just Corey and America sitting at the table, and he's I don't minutes at least of just silently watching the two of them eat together, and talk together. And then like later when they're hanging out on the loft, he comes out and he's like, "Oh, saw that jump," because she was like moving away from Corey when he came
Mhm.
out. And then he's gonna be like really creepy to them again. It's just it's so weird.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. I watched as little Cam as possible that I could on the feeds yesterday. I feel and we did you even say how, like, America just yelled "F you" to Cam when he
Oh yeah.
walked?
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I forgot about that. When she went with Jag to Corey into the living room and they were talking about like, oh, this is the Riley thing again. At one point, Cam walks by and America's just so hyped up. She just randomly is like, "Ooh, Cam!" Like flicks him off.
And then Cam just walks by, he's like, "Alright." He just walks by. I was so confused. Oh my god, it was so funny. Yeah, that was funny also.
Hmm.
Somebody said they wanted us to talk about Snickerdoodle Gate.
Oh boy.
I was not paying attention. Again, I did not watch a lot of Red or Cameron last night. I know Red made cookies. I know he made Snickerdoodles. I
Yeah,
think
there's been a lot of drama about Red and like he gets mad at people for different cooking situations, and stuff like that. But yeah, this was not on my radar.
yeah, it didn't make sense to me either. Sorry, sorry, y'all. I tried to get him to talk about something
Well,
else. I'm
it was
sorry.
the Izzy stuff with where Izzy was complaining about the snickerdoodles. Um,
Ugh,
look,
I
there's
love
there's
it.
a lot of Red Izzy drama that happens. You can't follow it all.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
All right. So, anything else that you wanted to bring up, Mari?
Nope, I'm good. I want to know this power. I need to know the exact machinations of it or whatever. I can't wait to see who's HOH tonight. We'll see what happens. This is a great season. I don't care. I mean, I'm still watching the veto episodes. Like that's how you know this season is pretty good. I was watching the episode yesterday and saw Jared misspell Golden so many times. Like it is I don't care. The season is giving to me. It's giving, and if you're gonna be sitting there and be bitter about what's going on in the house, that's a you problem. Because I'm having fun. I love this. I love this cast.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, undeniably, this has been a wild ride. So, and throughout, by the way, people have been doomsaying from the very start. From the second Suri entered the game, half the people were like, "Oh, turns out Suri actually sucks at this," and the other half were like, "Oh, Suri's obviously just going to dominate. It's going to be a steamroll. It's going to suck." And then like every single week, people are like, "This is when it stops. This is the steamroll. It's happening. It's gonna get real boring from here." And to be fair, some people are saying this is boring, and that's also fine if you think that. But if you're like predicting that, like if you've been predicting that it's going to get boring, then yeah, unless you already thought it was boring, I think you were wrong because it's
Mhm.
been, believe me, it's
It's been so messy. I love it.
it's a lot of things. But boring is not one of the things I would say it is. Um, but like again, you know, everyone has their own opinion.
Mhm.
All right. That's what we have for you. I'll be live tonight, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, watching tonight's episode of Big Brother 25, where we will likely see Jag leave. And then probably see this whole power competition only for Matt to not use it, probably. We'll then be live after the episode to talk through what went down on the podcast. And then tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, I'll be back to update you on everything that happens today and tonight on the Big Brother 25 live feeds with a new HOH, new plans. Now, I will say, probably the biggest argument for a predicting a boring week is the fact that this power does now exist and rests in the hands of Cerise. So I think we already know what's going to happen next week, or if something else tries to happen, it still won't. Um, but that is what we are looking at for heading into next week. So check all of that out. Mari, what do you got going on?
You can find me and Sarah Carradine over on the Crime Scene podcast, or it's a true crime review podcast. Every Tuesday, we review a different true crime, like documentary, docuseries, and we tell you if you should watch it. So go to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed in order to subscribe to that. It's really fun. Me and Sarah have great guests, and we talk about a lot of really fun properties. Also, me and Chappelle are over on post show recaps with The Connect. The Connect is back. We're here to talk about prestige Black television. Right now, we're gearing up for Rap Shit on Max to come back in November. Until then, we are watching like a couple of like just small things to talk about. So we are about to drop the second part of the Ladies First, a story of women in hip hop. It is a 4-part docuseries on Netflix, and we did a 2-parter covering it. So definitely go check that out by going to the Connect on post show recaps. And then, of course, follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. To like the number 2, that's where I post all my Big Brother takes. I post all the podcasts that Big Brother podcasts that I'll be on, and yeah, go and yell at me there is whatever.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you then today. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I will see all of you next time.